Hi everyone, it's Shirley from Shirley's World, and I'm going to have coffee with you this morning. I'm here. Cintron, hi. Yeah, I thought I'd have coffee. Finish my breakfast coffee. I was up very late last night because of the World Series game. I was interested in the World Series game because the Kansas City Royals were playing the New York Mets, and Kansas City won the World Series. I'm very happy about that. My cousin David Wickersham played for the Kansas City Royals back in the 60s. Played for 9 years. He is the oldest living Kansas City Royal right now, and he's 80 years old. He's my cousin, first cousin. Lives out in Kansas City, and so I'm sure he is excited. I wrote him a message on Facebook as soon as they won to congratulate the Royals and say what a great game it was. It was an exciting game. So I don't know if anybody is old enough here to remember David Wickersham. He was a pitcher and pitched for them. He also played for, I think, the Detroit Tigers and Pittsburgh Pirates. But he played for the Kansas City Royals for the longest time. And they've honored him many times there. I was thinking if the game went back to Kansas City, if they hadn't won this last game, it would have gone back to Kansas City, and maybe I would have seen Dave on in the seats because they might have invited him there, or he may have had tickets, of course, for the game. Him and his kids are out there. So that's why I was up so late last night. It went, how many innings? 12 innings? 13 innings before they won. But it was an exciting game. And I did feel sorry for the pitcher for the Mets because he did such a tremendous job the whole game up until the end. But that's how things go, I guess. Yeah. So I thought I'd come in. I'm having my coffee, the rest of my coffee from breakfast. A big mug today. Good morning, little Liza. Yeah, I thought I'd come on and just have a little chat. I have a few tips, some household tips I've been giving in the morning. And mildew, here's one tip. Mildew smell on your clothes. If you happen to forget about them in the washing machine, you know, this happens even faster in the summer when it's warm. If you leave them even overnight sometimes, they get that horrible mildew smell. And even if you put them in the dryer and dry them, the clothes still have that odor. So the best thing to do is you rewash them, but you put a cup of vinegar in the washing machine. You can add a little detergent if you want, but the clothes, even with the cup of vinegar, the clothes won't smell like vinegar. So a cup of vinegar and a little bit of detergent maybe if you want, and rewash them. If you think that they still have a little bit of odor, if they were really bad and still have a little bit over, you can rewash them again with the vinegar. But they usually, one rewash usually does it with the vinegar. So that's another use for vinegar. Vinegar you can use for everything, I'm telling you. So what are you all doing today? It's a gorgeous day. My sister is here. I picked her up yesterday. We meet halfway between Erie and here, Medina, and there happens to be a Waffle House right there near Paynesville. Oh, you're cleaning? And, well, yeah, I have to do a little bit of that too. I have to go to the bank later on and a couple other things. But this morning, just staying home, taking the dogs out, Cintron, yeah. My one dog is outside running around, and Spirit's here in the house. She didn't want to go out again yet. So she wanted to hang with me, I guess. Oh. Yeah, my dogs have an invisible fence around my property, so I can just open the door and let them run. It's the most wonderful invention they ever made, let me tell you. I've trained, how many dogs? I've trained 6 or 7 dogs to it. And I've never had an escapee, knock on wood. And they never try to get through the fence once they're trained right. But you have to take the 2 to 3 weeks to do it correctly. And usually the invisible fence trainer, when you get a new dog and get a new collar for them and everything, they will come for one training session when they put up the flags again for you. And, you know, it sort of reminds you how to do it again. So I train my dogs right, and they never try to get out of the fence. So I love the invisible fence. Even after they're on it for, you know, a while, like a year or whatever, they don't even, I don't think they relate it to the collar anymore. So if you happen to forget their collar on them, or if the fence goes down for some reason, say if somebody digs through the wire under the ground and it goes off and you haven't gotten them out here to reconnect yet, they still don't go through it. They know exactly where it is by that time. But they have to be trained correctly. It takes a couple weeks of every day taking them out a couple times a day. So let's see. Cleaning a wood cutting board. I always use wood cutting boards. The only plastic, well, I don't know what it's made of, that hard plastic one I use. I have one special one I use for cutting chicken up or any meat, and that can go in the dishwasher, so I use that. But other than that, I use a wood cutting board. Right now I think mine's made of bamboo, but any wood cutting board this will work on. To clean them, every once in a while you should clean them good, you get a lemon, a real lemon, and you cut it in half, and salt. Use salt. It's salt and vinegar. You sprinkle some coarse salt down on the cutting board. You can squeeze a little lemon so it makes sort of the salt wet so it doesn't scatter around when you're doing this. But then take the lemon, you know, hold the lemon like this and scrub with the lemon. Scrub the salt, so the salt and the lemon are being scrubbed into the board. You scrub it on both sides, and then you just rinse really well. And that's how you clean a wood cutting board. And that's tip number 2. Tip number 3. I like my tomatoes peeled. It's very hard to peel tomatoes. I mean, if you don't do this to them. I don't like, even in a sandwich with you have a sliced tomatoes, I don't like the skin on the tomatoes. I don't know why. It didn't seem to bother me when I was young. I always never worried about this, but now I like the tomatoes peeled, so. Okay, number 1, the old-fashioned method would be to plunge your tomato in some boiling water, and just for a minute or so. You just put it down into boiling water, and then have a bowl of ice water ready. So the boiling water enough to heat so you can see the skin on the tomato sort of get crinkly. And some people cut across in the top where the stem is. You can cut like across there through the skin. That works better actually. And then you put them in the boiling water, and then you lift them out with tongs or whatever and plunge them into the ice water. Just for a few minutes to cool it. You'll see the skin will start to shrivel up and come away, and then you can just take it off. I mean, it just slides right off. And that's the easiest way to peel a tomato. Another easy way, you can do it in the microwave. If you put the tomato in the microwave for, I think it's 30 seconds, cut the cross in the top, put the tomato in the microwave 30 seconds, take it out and cool it in the ice water, and the same thing will happen. The skin will just fall off. You can just skid it off with your thumbs. And those are the easiest way to take the peel off a tomato. And then you can just slice it like you would any other tomato. Don't leave it in the hot water too long, because then it sort of makes the tomato itself under the skin kind of mushy, and it's hard to hang on to the tomato to slice it or whatever. I mean, it's fine, but it just isn't, it takes the crispiness away from the tomato. But those are my 3 tips for this morning. So what is everybody doing today? Who's here? Cintron and Liza? Anybody else? Yeah, I'm going to, like I said, I have to run to the bank. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have lots of tips. At 73, if I keep thinking back, I keep writing things down. So these are things that I do, things that help me out, and I can tell them to you. So I have to wake my sister up. She gets up about a couple hours. She sleeps a couple hours later than me, especially this morning because we were up so late with the baseball game. But that's the one sport I really like to watch is baseball. Back when I'm from near Cleveland, so I was a big Indians fan, Cleveland Indians fan, especially back in the like 95 and 96 when they were really, really hot. And I was so involved with the Indians. I learned all about baseball back then. I went to quite a few games, and oh, you love the Tigers, yeah. Yeah, my cousin played for the Tigers for I don't know how many years. He was a pitcher. He's 80 now, but his name is David Wickersham, and that was one of the teams he played with. But he played mostly for the Kansas City Royals, and that's why I was so happy they won last night. But yeah, the Cleveland Indians, back in 95 and 96, that's when I was just a crazy fan. And I had all kinds of jackets and gear and stuff like that. But yeah, we went to quite a few games, and that's when I learned the most about baseball, because I was the most interested. But our family, I guess, has always been a baseball family because, I mean, back when I was little, because my cousin was a baseball player, so I saw him play a couple times way back in the 60s. That was in the 60s. And so when he would come to town, that's when I was in nurses training in the 60s, and he would come to town to play the Indians. He was on the other team, and he would always come and visit me I was in nursing school in East Cleveland, Ohio, at Huron Road Hospital, School of Nursing. And yes, I am still getting my nursing stories ready. I'm going to do a whole series on funny nursing, funny and all kinds. They're not all funny. Some are pretty gross. Some are frightening. But I will put those together. I'm putting them together. Maybe my sister can help too while she's here. Help me remember. But she's a nurse too. We're both nurses. And so anyway, I'm going to the bank today. Maybe if I have time, I may run to Aldi's, but I may save that for tomorrow. I don't know. American Pet Pros. Well, thank you for joining. Yeah, I love my animals, that's for sure. The chickens are out in their run, and the cats have been fed. The barn cats and my dogs have been fed. I have rescue English pointers, and my barn cats are both rescued barn cats. So, yes, I believe in rescue and not buying from a store or breeder. Although we did buy my daughter's a lab from a breeder way back. He's, how old is Trouble? She had her first Trouble, her first lab, black lab, was when she was way in high school, or maybe even younger than high school. And he lived for 16 years. And then that was a tragic loss and took her a while. And then in a couple years, we surprised her one Christmas with a lab puppy. And that one we did get from a breeder. So the one she has now is pure black lab, and his name is Trouble too. And he is now 10 or 11 years old already. So there is a, on my YouTube, there is a video of her getting the puppy. It's called Christmas Puppy. And it's one of the things that I put on YouTube. You can find my YouTube videos by going to my blog. It's along the right-hand side. You can click on it. It's clickable, and you can get to all my links from there. My Periscope, Twitter, my Pinterest, my YouTube, all those you can get to from there. So I have a blog called Shirley's World, and it's shirleysworld.blogspot.com. shirleysworld.blogspot.com. If you just Google Shirley's World, you'll find me. And there's two Shirley's World on there. One is Shirley MacLaine, that's not me, and the other one's me, so I'm easy to find. And so I thought I'd come on just for a few minutes and give you those tips, because I wasn't on yesterday. I was busy picking up my sister, and we went out for supper, and then we were watching the baseball game. So I will try to be on every day from now on, and I will see you tomorrow. And thanks for joining. Thanks for joining me for breakfast. And I'll see you later on today or tomorrow.